For latest updates and short audio clips, follow us on Instagram, Reading the Author.
Hey guys, welcome back to the podcast Reading the Author, a unique show where we read authors' mind and not their book. Meanwhile, I truly believe and pray that you and your families are completely safe and healthy as well. Guys, today we have VIJAYA DIALANI ma'am with us, and she's the author of Breakthrough Mental Wellness Techniques. Thank you so much, ma'am, for coming on our show. I'm truly grateful that you have chosen our podcast.
It's a pleasure, Gaurav.
Likewise, ma'am. So, ma'am, before we get into the podcast and know much more about your book, about your work, about your upcoming projects and everything, I would request you to please introduce yourself so that our listeners can know much more about you. And do let us know how you started this writing journey too.
Sure. So, Gaurav, as you already mentioned, my name is Vijaya. I am residing here in Abu Dhabi, United Arab Emirates. And I have been a chemistry teacher all my life, I think for the last 12 years.
Wow.
However, there were many twists and turns in my life since childhood. I have experienced everything that's unwanted,
Okay.
both as a child, as an adult, as a teenager as well. That left me with no choice other than learning to handle my emotions and learning to handle my state of mind. And that's when I gradually started to swift into life coaching in 2020, because
Okay.
I felt that there are many other people who are in need and I could be of service. A few years later, I felt and I experienced not all people can open up. Not all people can trust others and tell what they feel like. But yes, they certainly need help. And not everyone can afford services as well. So that was the moment when I decided to compose this book. It was actually my teachings to different clients, and it's a merge of all of it in
Okay.
a very comprehensive way, wherein if you are experiencing anxiety, just go to anxiety topic, how to deal with it. There are 4 to 5 techniques. See what works for you, apply it, and good to go.
Okay.
So that's how I ended up as an author.
So, as of now, ma'am, when it comes to writing, is it a full-time job or, you're pursuing it as a hobby as of now?
None of those, Gaurav. The only reason for writing a book was service. Tomorrow, if I write again, and I've already started working on the next book, it's again service. It's not hobby. I do not belong to literature background.
Okay.
But I feel that it's required.
Okay. So, ma'am, we truly feel blessed to have such authors who think beyond something, when it comes to financial thing and other, and who are here for to give something to the society. Because,
Yeah.
in 26th Feb, we will complete our 3rd anniversary of this podcast. And when I started
Congratulations.
this, thank you so much, ma'am. And when I started this podcast, I just truly wanted to help the authors, because when it comes to we are India's first author-centric podcast show. So every day hundreds of books are being published in this country, and worldwide we can go ahead with more than 500 books every week. But when it
Yeah.
comes to talking a new person, they hardly know any, hardly they can count on their fingers. So that was the main
Yeah.
purpose, and I really feel blessed to that, because I get to connect with people like you who are doing something for the society. So my podcast honor just gets double as of now.
Thank you, Gaurav. That makes me feel nice. Thank you.
Yeah. So, ma'am, what influenced you to write on this particular topic? Because you could have written something else, as you shared that you want to, serve something to the society. And so,
Yes.
but you can write something which is mass appealing, or which can just, go ahead and makes money in the market. Why especially you
Yeah.
choose in this topic?
So, Gaurav, I never thought of serving. Serving was not in my blood. Although I belong to Sikh community, I don't belong, but as a child, I have always visited Gurudwaras, and we do a lot of service there. And as I already mentioned, my childhood was not nice. My teenage was not nice. So earlier, when I was experiencing those situations, those emotions, the only reaction I would have is not eating food for a long time. That was my expression of anger. But gradually I realized that it is only affecting me and no one else. So I stopped reacting. But internally, Gaurav, I was still suffering. because it was still in me. A few years later, I just started accepting it. I started to deal with that emotion, with that situation. And the moment I learned to handle the situation vanished. And this was the aha moment for me. And I really wanted other people, at least in my friends, my community, immediate community, to also learn this. So I started teaching them. I started working with them that this is how you should do. If you can try this, it might work, etc., etc. And then when I reached a point where COVID came in, I suddenly lost my job in this country where visa is very important. I was not able to travel back to India because extreme pandemic in India. Situation was bad.
True.
But with God's grace, I was having still that state of mind where it's okay, it's going to work out. And that led me to a position wherein I felt, Vijaya, we should do something that is beyond chemistry. We should do something that life has taught to us. And then when I started connecting dots backwards, I realized that all of these things that happened to me, which I always hated, happened for a reason. And that reason is empathy. Had I not experienced it, I would never have empathy to my clients. I wouldn't feel the way they feel, but now I do. I can feel what the situation is. And that is the only reason I chose to write on this topic. And I know it won't make me money as well, Gaurav. And I don't need that money. But if there's one person who benefits from the book, I feel that's an achievement to me.
Definitely.
That was the...
Okay. So, ma'am, what are some common challenges you help your clients to overcome, when it comes to those sessions?
Sorry? Can you please repeat?
Yeah, sure, ma'am. What are some common challenges that you help your clients to overcome?
One of the major challenge that I experience in most of my clients is relationship issues. They think that if their professional life is going good, their personal will also go good. They do not feel that personal relationship always demands investment of time, energy, attention, just like your professional life, which is the reason they are not experiencing the pleasure that they should get. That is one of the major ones, because in this 21st century, many people are parting away for tiny reasons. Of course, excessive resource is also the reason, but we have to understand that these excessive resources might not be the way we want. The second challenge that I help my client with is anxiety. Anxiety is much more than COVID pandemic, if you'll trust me, Gaurav.
Okay.
It's spreading so fast, both in India and abroad, that people don't know how to handle it. They don't know how to talk. And as our community, at least in India, we are not supposed to talk about anything that is related to mental issue.
Agree.
We can talk about physical disease, but we cannot talk if we are feeling uneasy in the mind. So that is my last area that I work with. I deal with people to open up. They are putting everything in their mind as a dustbin. They have to open up. They have to release, if not to a person, to a book, to a paper, to air, to sun, but they have to just throw it out. And that requires courage.
But how do you typically measure success with your clients when it comes to this? Because a person can come, they just take the sessions and just go, how do you just get, okay, now this person is completely,
Yeah. So, Gaurav, I have a tracker.
Okay.
I am a neuro-linguistic programming expert also. So I deal a lot with the human brain. That is my favorite subject. So as per NLP and as per experience, if you have a healthy state of mind, you have a healthy life. If you have an unhealthy state of mind, you have an unhealthy life. So I have a tracker wherein my clients, 1 week before the first session, they start tracking their state of mind at least 3 times a day.
Okay.
So they have done that for a week before the first session, and they have to do it throughout the journey and 1 week after our last session also. Anywhere in the journey, if we find that for 2 consecutive days, our state of mind is low or average, then we change our strategy. I don't do
Okay.
that again. I try to work on something else
Hmm.
or with some other strategy. So that tracker is very helpful both for them and for me. For me, in a way that whether my strategy is working on my client or not, and for my client to validate the expertise that they are getting, and also for their brain to collect data. When their brain collects data that, okay, this is working, I feel better, my state of mind is better. Every time that happens, the brain is collecting data and brain is going to store that data for future. And then when they are in a bad state of mind, the brain can take that as a resource and produce healthy state of mind for you with one tiny trigger. And that is the key.
Okay. Okay, now that is something very deep. And now, my next question to this podcast would be, when you just shared about the healthy life, like you mentioned about this healthy life word. So for me, it can
Yeah.
be something else. For other person, it can be something else. And for you, it can be something else, right? So when it
Yes.
comes to you, what according to you is the most important aspect of a healthy life? And basically, like, how do you help you when it comes to the clients to achieve that kind of healthy life?
Okay. For me and for the clients that I work with, the key to a healthy life is peace and happiness.
Okay.
Because I live in a country, Gaurav, where there is unlimited money. People have a lot of money here because, they have multiple businesses. Alhamdulillah, they have a lot of money. But with that, a lot of money also, they don't have peace. And that peace is not there because the money that is coming, the relationships that they have are not in alignment with their deep core values. And that this agreement is leading to dissatisfaction. What I try to do with them, and also with Vijaya personally, because I keep coaching myself also.
Okay.
Every time I do something, I have to check with myself and with them whether this is in alignment with their core values. And if it is, please go ahead. If it is not, please stop it there. Now, the next question arises, how do we identify our core values? We literally have a test to do on the first day. They have to sit there for 30 long minutes and do that test. And when they do that test, they filter out of 208 values to find out what appeals to them the most. Once they find that out, they know that whatever decision I take, I have to be in alignment with these 6 values. If I'm not in alignment, that money is not going to give me happiness, no peace, no satisfaction. This relationship will not do that. And that is how healthy life is to me.
It has been around, I guess, 15 to 18 minutes since we're talking, and I'm just about to visualize those clients, like how gratefully they just get to know about their life, because 208 metrics and all those tests, couple of weeks they are doing it. How deeply they guys will be able to know themselves, because what exactly I personally feel like when it comes to relationship or in life, there's 1,000 battle we can fight outside the world. Like, we can just do anything, whatever we want. But when it comes to our internal thing, that anxiety, that restlessness, that lack of peace is something not everybody can fight with. And probably that is the most probability of the reasons what I feel that, that most of the amazing peoples just fall in the trap of those suicide and all things, because they can't just balance their mind and their peace, what I exactly feel. And when it comes,
Gaurav, you just said the most accurate statement. Yes, we can win 100 battles outside. Yes,
true, ma'am. And when it comes to the kind of techniques and the details which you are sharing, I'm just amazed to experience this on my personal basis as well, because if I will get to know myself now, then I can definitely do anything in this world in the 10x speed.
Yeah, true.
So, ma'am, like when it comes to, as of now, like, we are completely in India, everybody has the great exposure of internet. And when it comes to the couple of words which you shared on the definition of healthy life, that peace and happiness, right?
Yeah.
So many people are suggesting about this meditation thing, right? So, do
yeah.
you also include this meditation in your coaching?
Yes, certainly. So, first I'll tell you personally about Vijaya. Vijaya meditates every single day.
Hmm.
I am a regular Vipassana meditator,
Okay.
and I strongly believe because it gives me the peace that I need. But when it comes to my clients, their meditations are very specific.
Okay.
Their meditations are based on healing the past. Their meditations are, for instance, forgiving someone, meditation, planning the future. So these meditations have been customized on what they need currently.
Okay.
Because if I am not satisfied with what I want, I cannot sit down and meditate every day. I am already dissatisfied. So these meditations help them come on that page wherein they feel satisfied. And then I do advise them to regularly meditate for 5 minutes, 7 minutes, but it's their choice. I do hold them accountable for a couple of weeks,
Okay.
but after that, I fail to hold accountable.
Okay. So, ma'am, it excites me a lot to just know, and my listeners also would be very much interested to know, how a typical session with a client looks like. Can you give us some examples, because the curiosity is a lot here.
Yeah, sure. So typically the session is for an hour. It might be 55 to 65 minutes, but it is mentioned as an hour. So when we begin, for the first 20 minutes, it's only the client who talks. But there have been days when the client just doesn't want to open up. That's fine. Gradually, with different questioning strategy, which is the key of my coaching company, right questioning, which helps me dig more into them. With that, they open up. And then I try to understand and ask them to write down what they actually mean. The problem is, Gaurav, they say X and the reality is Y. Vijaya, as a life coach, has to fill in the gap between X and Y.
Yeah.
And to fill that gap, I take another 10 to 12 questions wherein I get the truth from them. And once I get the truth, we decide on whether this strategy or that strategy. I independently decide in the beginning, but yes, I do take permission. And once we use the strategy, for instance, I can use with them future timeline. That's one strategy that I use. Or another strategy where they are extremely experiencing anxiety, I can do the 5-minute rule with them. It is already mentioned in my book. So depending on what they are experiencing, I'll choose the strategy, and we'll do that strategy for 2 sessions and then check whether that strategy is working or not. If the strategy is working, great. If the strategy is not working, we just switch. We as NLPs, we believe that not every strategy will work with everyone. So if one strategy is not working, no problem, we can just use another one. The problem is not with the strategy, the problem is maybe the communication, maybe the acceptance, maybe the way the client is perceiving it, anything. And then at the end of the session, of course, the client has to note down the state of mind before the session also, because that is the only data I have. I need that data to understand how my client feels before and after.
Okay. But ma'am, as we have earlier spoken, that when it comes to the 2 major problems, the one is relationship issues and the second one is anxiety, right?
Yeah.
But these are 2, what I can feel, 2 major categories, right? And when it comes to talking about those little problems, I would not say that I am not getting that exact word, but I won't be, justify the word little here, because they can be big problems. When it comes to, let's say, a person is unable to sleep, he's facing some sleep problems, or let's say he's facing low energy, like a couple of days or something like that. So do you also address these kinds of specific issues too with your clients?
On one-to-one, yes. So Gaurav, my niche is productivity and mental well-being. And I do mass sessions only on productivity and mental wellness. But when it comes to one-to-one, till now, I have not refused a single client. I have not refused anyone. Even if I don't have time, I have done it at 12 a.m. only to offer that help to the society. I have done it on weekends. I've had fights with my family, but it's still fine. I would do that to serve. So I do take clients that experience sleep issues and who are experiencing low energy. And when it comes to these specific issues, I include diet also majorly.
Okay.
Because diet influences your sleep and energy a lot. So in that way, I create a diet plan for a week for them, along with a few other things. For example, they have to not try to sleep. That is one of the key things I do with my insomniac patients, insomniac clients.
Okay.
The 50% problem is solved because now they are not trying to sleep. Another 10% problem is solved when I hand them a book that they hate to read. So now the brain thinks, oh my God, it's easier to sleep than reading. Let me just sleep. That works, I think, 60% times. For some of my clients, music worked well. Music, not non-lyrical music, instrumental. So, and once the sleep is good, automatically your energy levels on the next day will be high. And the number of hours also. It is important to understand that the female cycle needs different hours and the male cycle needs different hours of sleep. Females need definitely 7.5 hours of sleep if they are non-meditating, and males can survive on 6.5 hours of sleep if they are not meditating.
Okay. So when it comes to a major problem, what I am personally facing as of now to maintain the balance between work, family, and kind of personal life too. So how do you help your clients with that? Because that's gonna benefit me as well.
Yeah. So for that also, I have a tracker.
Okay.
This tracker is for Vijaya also. Most of the things that I do with my clients are experimented on me first, because I want to see the result on myself first. So there is a tracker wherein they have to list down their yearly goals, which can be 3 to 4 only. And they only have to focus on 3 to 4 goals for that year. And then we split them up. And that can be not only career goals, there can be relationship goals also, finance goals also, health goals also. For example, one of the goals for 2024 is to exercise 5 times a week. Currently, I'm only exercising 3. So that is my goal. When I do that with my clients, from 1 year, we come to four quarters of the year. From 4 quarters, we cut down to a month, and then from a month to a week. So now I am very clear, okay, Vijay, I have to do this week. It is already on my mirror. And when I see that, it's even now on my mirror and I can see it. When it's on my mirror, it keeps reminding me, Vijay, we are not deviating from this. My client cannot deviate from that. And that reminds them of what is important. If relationship is important to me, I will give it the investment it demands. If my body is important to me, I am going to do the exercise. But for you to feel important and to actually execute it, this tracker is the bridge. And that is how it works. It has worked until now for, I believe, 80 to 85% of my clients, and it is still working for me.
Okay.
If you need, I'll send you the tracker.
Definitely, ma'am. Would love to. Because that is something I'm too struggling as of now. If I try to, to focus on one, then I just lose the other two. And if I used to, I guess I'm playing in some seesaw kind of game. I'm unable to balance both of them.
Yeah. I know how it feels. I did experience it. Sometimes I still do. But that's life.
So when it comes to this, well-being coaching and all, many people like in India also, they just claim to be a well-being coach, and they just, try to sell you some kind of things that even a normal person can say, okay, this is not something related to well-being. So when it comes to you, like, what are some common misconceptions you have encountered as of now?
One of the most common misconceptions that until now I have experienced is people think I have solutions. I don't.
Hmm.
They think I am some guru,
Hmm.
and I am some, in India, there is a culture of having people who tell you, if this is not working for you, please give water to the sun, feed the cow, etc., etc. They
Agree,
think
agree.
I am one of those, but I am not.
Hmm.
What I am is, I can give them clarity, I can guide them, but I don't have solutions. So in the beginning, I had to, literally tie my shoelaces and be ready, because I knew the client is going to come with that. He'll tell me, give me the solution. I don't have. That's one major misconception, that the coaches have the solutions. They don't. Another misconception that people, especially in India, have is, this is useless. Even I can do that. They forget that you might know it, but you might not know how to do it.
Totally. Yeah. Agree.
And the life coach or the well-being coach or fitness coach, he has done it. She has herself survived those situations, and that's why she and he is in a position to guide you. So they feel paying a well-being coach is waste of money. I can fix that myself.
True.
This is a lot in India.
Agree.
A lot. And the last and the most important misconception, nothing is wrong with me, Gaurav. That is the claim in India. People are closing their eyes. Everything is okay with me. Nothing is wrong. Not my fault. She triggered me. He did that. I did not do anything. That is because of him. We give away all responsibility. They don't understand that. Yes. They don't understand that when you give away the responsibility, you are giving away power as well. So please take back the responsibility and take back your power. Only then you can fix.
True. Definitely. In fact, when it comes to the second specific reason you shared, that they will do it themselves. So when it comes to, I will just let you know, because when it comes to you, you're talking about a very much serious and a very much broad topic when it comes to mental health, right? I'm telling you the example of this podcast. If you approach to authors, okay, we have the India's first author-centric podcast show, we have this much listenership and all that. Most of them simply say, okay, it's a podcast, I will also record and send. And we try to just make them understand, okay, what exactly we are here because we have the listenership. That's what we are claiming, that we will get to reach out these number of people in a single go. So what they reply is, okay, no problem, I will also create those kinds of listenership. And we just want to say, okay, this is not your work. You can't do everything in life. There are some people who have some specific. Everybody will be leader, then who will be the follower? So understand the difference. You are earning because you want the peace, you want the clarity in life. Not everything has to be done from you. People have their work as well.
Yes, of course. And Gaurav, I can recall there is a quote by someone, and he says that you can do anything, but you can't do everything.
Totally agree. I totally agree on this.
And when I read this, it hit me so hard, because people are trying to do everything in their life.
True.
And that's the mistake.
Okay.
At a later stage, after a lot of lessons, I learned to say no to a lot of things.
True.
And that changed my life.
In fact, I just used to give them example. Now I also think, okay, theek hai, aapko nahi karna, just don't do. I used to give them example, okay, let's say if your boss also says, okay, I will be able to do all the work, then you will definitely lose your job. So they just used to say, no, it is not like that.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So, my next question to this podcast is like, how do you see yourself as a brand? Like when it comes to this personal branding thing, most of the authors are working, or they want to be known or remembered as a certain genre, certain type of author. So when it comes to you, what's your take on this?
I certainly want to be remembered as someone who wants the society to benefit as a whole. As someone who wants the society to be healthier day by day. Of course, we are in Kali Yuga, and the things are messed up. we are impure already. We don't know how to handle our emotions. I want people to remember as a contributor to help them reach their maximum potential. Even if people don't remember my name, I want them to remember my work, which is for their well-being.
That's great. That's definitely great. So my last question to this podcast is, ma'am, like, what will be your one message for our audience who are listening to this podcast?
The message would be the thing that I learned the hardest way. Please be in this moment. What is gone has gone. What is going to come is going to come. Yes, I have been listening to this for a very long time, but starting to apply will make you feel the difference. When you drive, tell yourself, I'm only going to drive. Multitasking is a myth, guys. There is nothing as multitasking. Yes, you can walk and eat a bubble gum because your brain does not need power to eat a bubble gum.
True.
So that's okay. But when you're doing X, when you're in this moment, please be there. And that will clean out a lot of waste from your mind and gradually empower you. I hope you guys learn it faster than I did.
Okay, so that's all for today, guys. I hope you must have enjoyed this lovely and inspiring conversation with Vijaya ma'am. And if you do, then do follow our podcast, Reading the Author, available on all the leading podcast platforms. And don't forget to buy and read the book. You can just search on Amazon, Breakthrough Mental Wellness Techniques, or you can search Vijaya DIALANI. You will get the book. Buy it, read it, and share with your friends and family too. Thank you so much, ma'am, for coming on our podcast. It was my honor to be able to host you today.
Thank you so much, Gaurav. Thank you.